Okay. Namaste.
Namaste.
So we'll begin today's class with verse 18.18. Has Sir come? I think Sir is not there, so we'll begin. Jnanam Neyam Parignyata Trividha Karma Chodana Karanam Karma Karteti Trividha Karma Sangraha. So, in the last verses, we had five factors which were the cause of action. So, we did about the Adhishthanam, which is the body or the venue, the concept, the foundation. Then we have the Karta, we have the Karanam, the instruments of the various sorts. Then we have the Cheshta, the various functions of the vital energies or the various capabilities, the variety in action, and then we had the Daivam, the powers of the presiding deities or the power of the Lord, which makes all this possible. And then now we are studying uh, the six factors which are requisite for action. Now, those five are there, but now these are six are listed, and these six will be reduced to three in the next verse. So here he says that to do any action, definitely those five factors are there, but you need knowledge. Before you do any action, you need some knowledge. You need an object of the knowledge, and you need a knower. In the verse 18.14, the doer, as Dr. Bupatkar was also saying, the doer is the most important. So now he's mentioning that again. He says you need knowledge, you need a doer, and you need an object of knowledge before you do any action. And he says this is the karma chodana. That means it is the stimulus or the impulse or the inspiration for action. These are the requisites. First, you need to know the object, you need to have some knowledge. For example, if you are going to take up a job, you have to know about the job, you know how much remuneration you're getting, you have the knowledge of all those things, and you are the knower. And that's why you take up a job. Then he says there are two things to action. One is this mental planning, which is called karma chodana, the stimulus to action, and one is the actual execution of action. Now, that again has three composites. That is Karanam, the instruments. How will you do the action? You need the instruments. Suppose you are a news reader, say, then you need a good voice, you need a good instrument. Then the action itself, and then the doer. The doer who has the knowledge, who's the same as the Parignata. The doer and the knower are the same. The doer has the knowledge of the action, of the act he's going to do. He has the instruments, and then he does the action to the best of his capability. So, this is a bit technical. Now, the first three, the knowledge, the knowable, and the knower, they are called the Jnana Tripati. Tripati, the triad of knowledge. And then that's the triad of karma, the three things to karma. I don't know if this is clear, but this is how it is broken up action. It will get clearer with the next verse where he's actually going to tell us about knowledge, about the action, and about the doer. Finally, these are reduced to three in the next verse. But in this verse, he's telling us that any action which is done has these requisites. First, you need to know about the object. You are the knower, there is the object, and there is the knowledge of the object. So it can also be explained as you are the knower, as in you are the experiencer. You have already experienced certain things, so you have gained the knowledge. That experience is the knowledge, and you have experienced something about the object. So there is an object, there is a knowledge, and there is the knower. Is it confusing or is it clear?
So, So Gyata is obviously corresponding to Karta.
Yeah.
Gye is corresponding to Kriya.
Yeah. No. Neya is corresponding to the Karanam, the instruments.
अच्छा, जानने में आने वाली वस्तु का नाम. Okay.
Yeah. And the knowledge, see, knowledge is separate. There is knowledge of an action, and there is a knower, the parignyata, and in the next verse, it's the karta. The parignyata and the karta is the same, the knower and the doer.
Okay.
Okay, and the knowledge is separate. Now the karma is the action, that is also separate. Now the instruments and the object. See, the object is a matter. If I want to know a bird, I want to know a flower, I want to know any object in this material world, I want to know about business. That object is, we are not discussing about the object because that's like a dead matter. It's an object. And the instruments, the senses, are also like dead matter. What activates the senses is the knower or the doer. The senses by itself, the eyes will only see. They are just an instrument. So in the verse, he's not discussing about the object and the instruments. So we are going to go into detail of the knowledge, which is going to be broken up into three. There are three kinds of knowledge, there are three kinds of action, and there are three kinds of doers. The doer will use the instrument, and so that we are not discussing. That Krishna is not going to discuss. The doer is going to utilize the karanam, which are the instruments, to do the action. So we are going to discuss the doer or the knower. The knower is going to use the knowledge of the object. If he takes up a job, he's going to use the knowledge. So the knowledge, the doer, and the action. Now, what Vinoba says that any work, of course, all the commentators say the same thing, that any work, any activity is constituted of these three factors, which is knowledge, action, and the doer. To do anything, you need these. Now, suppose you are a mother and you have a child. So, how can you have knowledge of cooking? So you need to have knowledge. You need to have knowledge about what your child likes, what suits his temperament or his constitution. And as a good mother, you need to know all this. You need to have knowledge. Then you need to do the act. Right? You can't just have knowledge and not do the act. So that is one thing. And then the other thing is the doer. Now, the mother can be a careless mother. She couldn't care less and she can cook any kind of thing because she has to give something to eat. I know one mother, she said, basically, when the child is crying, you have to give something to him to eat. He has to satisfy his hunger. So, my question to her was many years ago that but we have to give them something nutritious, right? We can't just give anything just because they are crying. So, but then you have to go into detail of the act. So that's the doer. So that's why the doer is also sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. The knowledge also has to be deep. I can't just have a superficial knowledge, of what my child likes. Or this is one example. And then I must do the action also. So, like it is said, that the way to hell is paved with good intentions. We can't just have good intentions. We have to do the action also. So that's why the knowledge, the action, and the doer, these three have been now further divided in the next 10 to 20 verses, which we are going to read now. All right, so we'll go with the next verse. Why Sir not coming today? Oh, he's there. Sir, please, can you read? Okay, so still, okay, fine. So I'll read it. Prochyate gunasankhena
Which
yatha.
one did you say?
Oh, okay.
Jnanam karma cha karta cha
Yeah.
tridhaiva guna bhedatah.
Yeah.
Prochyate guna sankhyaane yathavat shrunu tanyapi.
knowledge and action as well as the doer have be of three kinds according to the guna which predominates in each. Hear them duly from me. So now he's telling him that there are three things. So which I have already explained with the previous verse. So do we need any more explanation? We can go to the next verse now. So shall we read the next verse?
Which one? 320? 20?
Yes.
सर्वभूतेषु येनैकं भावम् अव्ययमीक्षते अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकम्.
Correct. So now, since we learned in this 18.19 that there are three, that work is constituted of three factors: knowledge, action, and the actor. The jnana, the karma, and the karta. So we are going to divide first the knowledge. First, he's taken up knowledge and he's going to divide it into three, because all of them are based on the gunas. So now we have three kinds of knowledge: rajasic and tamasic. So first we are doing the sattvic knowledge, which says that that by which man perceives one imperishable divine existence as undivided and equally present in all individual beings, know that knowledge to be sattvika. So naturally, this is the highest kind of knowledge. If man has this knowledge, his actions are going to be sattvic. He himself is going to be of a higher mental state. He's going to be a sattvic man, because this kind of knowledge can't come to everybody. It's a very high state. So for a goldsmith to see gold in all ornaments and not to see the money part, not to see the business part, for us to see the sameness in everything and not see the difference, it's a very high state. This is the highest sattvic knowledge, which sees the one reality in all beings. Okay, so shall we do the next verse?
पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ञानं नानाभावान् पृथक्विधान् वेत्ति सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम्.
So the knowledge by which man cognizes many existences of various kinds as a one another. All beings know that knowledge. We see. So naturally, if you see difference, it's going to be greed, because there's going to be I, me, mine, and you, yours. It's going to be separate. So I will want everything to myself. Obviously, the actions will also follow in the same way. So this knowledge is very important for any action. Now, also Krishna has taken up these three things because these three things can be worked upon. They can be purified. We can improve our knowledge. We can improve actions, because if the knowledge is better, then action will be better. We can improve personality. So in verse 18.18, when he was listing the 6 factors, but now he's reduced 3, because these 3 can be worked upon and they can be made pure. They can be taken to the highest level possible. So now this knowledge is where you see the difference, where that I sense is very strong, where I am separate from you. Now we'll go to verse 22. So are you reading?
यत्तु कृत्स्नवदेकस्मिन् कार्ये सक्तम् अहैतुकम् अतत्त्वार्थवदल्पं च तत्तामसम् उदार्तम्.
That knowledge which clings to one body. It need not be body, but one thing. But obviously, it will be the body, as if it were the whole, which is irrational, has no real grasp of truth, is trivial, has been declared as tamasika. Now, in the sattvic, we see the one reality. Even in the tamasic, we see one reality. But this reality is erroneous. this reality is not pure. This is actually, we see the body. This is it. The body is there and it has come, and that's all, the be all and end all of life. So this does not this does not have the real understanding of truth. It's a misconception. I take the unreal to be real. I take the body to be the real. I take the impermanent to be permanent. It's total avidya. So, yeah. So shall we go to the next verse? So we do.
नियतं संगरहितम् अरागद्वेषतः कृतम् अफलप्रेप्सुना कर्म यत्तत् सात्विकमुच्यते.
The action which is ordained by the scriptures is not accompanied by the sense of doership and has been done without any attachment or aversion by one who seeks no return is called sattvika. Naturally, when the knowledge is sattvika, when I see the sameness everywhere, that everyone is like me, we are a part of the whole, there is no difference. Naturally, then I just do it because I'm supposed to do it. There is no sense of doer. I just do things because I've received so much, what we studied in chapter 17. And there is no attachment, no aversion, there is no return, because this sattvika kind of a person feels that he is getting so much. He sees the goodness in everybody. So, this kind of work is without any expectation. It's done as a part of one's duty because it has to be done. There is no I sense. There is only joy in doing it because the person has identified himself with the larger, with the whole, and he does it out of joy and happiness. So this is the kind of work, the karma, sattvic karma. And now we shall see the rajasic karma. So will you read the rajasic karma 24?
24. यत्तु कामेप्सुना कर्म साहंकारेण वा पुनः क्रियते बहुलायासं तद्राजसम् उदाहृतम्.
That action, however, which involves much strain, is performed by one who seeks enjoyments or by a man full of egotism, has been spoken of as Rajasika. This man does not naturally do things. He wants more and more. So he exerts more and more. And he's full of egotism. Naturally, I want it. He doesn't see the sameness. He sees a difference, as we saw. His knowledge is Rajasic. He sees that we are all separate. There is a lot of I, me, mine. So his actions are also corresponding. He wants things for himself. So he works hard in that area. Instead of working at refining his mind, he will work at refining or improving his external lifestyle, the comfort, enjoyments. He will work on his desires. There will be no selfless action, there will be selfish action. So, shall we read the next verse?
अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम् अनवेक्ष्य च पौरुषम् मोहादारभ्यते कर्म यत्तत् तामसमुच्यते.
That action which is undertaken through sheer ignorance, without regard to consequences to oneself, injury to others, and one's own resourcefulness, is declared as tamasic. The tamasic person doesn't have any idea as to what is right or wrong. He doesn't understand, like we have terrorists or we have addicts who take up to wrong things, and they don't understand the consequences, that it's harming others, that it's not good for the society, that they can set bad examples. So many other things. They're causing injury to others. They're causing loss to one's self, and they don't understand these things, or something where you don't understand your own capability and you do wrong acts. That kind of an action is tamasic. So one needs to be very clear about these things. Often Hansaji used to tell us about an example. It doesn't fit here completely, but nonetheless I'll narrate it. So there was this young boy who was in a train, and there was also a gunda in the train, and that gunda, kind of a terrorist person, was had picked up a fight with another co-traveler, and they almost came to blows. So this man, he also got angry. He could have been the onlooker, but he got angry, and he also started, abusing the one who was the one who started it, the gunda in the train. Obviously, he was bashed up, and he was bleeding. So what we were trying to explain to us that first understand your capability. Are you strong enough to interfere in some other kind of act which you're not a part of? Or you use your intelligence. If you don't have the physical capability to fight with somebody, what you can do is to pull the chain, allow the train to stop, and call the policeman. Use your intellect. If you can't use your physical capability, use your intellect, because you have different kind of capabilities, which we did in 18.16 or 14. And sir also said that there's a variety in action. So you mentioned about a law of variety.
Yes.
Yeah, we have different capabilities. Now, which capability I am supposed to use, that I should know. I can't be ignorant of my capabilities or somebody else's capabilities also. Or I must spend time first to know. So here, this tamasic kind of a person doesn't think. He's not a far-sighted person. He just looks at the immediate, does the thing, and there is no thought of the consequence or the reaction of that action. So this is what the verse is saying, that we need to know everything. Our knowledge has to be improved and purified. Okay, so shall we go to the next verse now? Now the three kinds of doers.
Yeah. मुक्तसंगो नहं वादी धृत्युत्साह समन्वितः सिद्ध सिद्ध्योर्निर्विकारः कर्ता सात्विक उच्यते.
Freed from attachment, unegoistic, endowed with firmness, unswayed by success and failure, such a doer is. So this is a natural consequence of the knowledge. I have the knowledge that I'm a part of the whole. Naturally, my actions are such, and my personality becomes such, because I work without any expectation. I have no attachment. I'm unegoistic. I'm endowed with firmness and zeal, unswayed by success and failure. And this kind of a person is Satvika. So, this is a natural consequence of knowledge when I do it. So, we will see the Rajasic kind of a Karta or a doer.
What is the difference between sattvic karma and sattvic karta? If you see the verse 23 and verse 26, more or less the sattvic karma comes from sattvic karta.
Yeah. So there is, so it's
The
basically
only difference that I can see is that sattvic karta is nirvikar between siddhi and asiddhi. Siddhi siddhyor nirvikara karta sattvika uchyate.
yeah, that's the only difference. Correct. The success and failure part, right? Yeah, he's unswayed by success and failure. So, what is the difference, sir? That you mean that is not mentioned in verse 23, and that is mentioned in verse 26? Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying? Yeah, that's the only difference.
Siddhi siddhyor nirvikara.
Yeah, so it's like kind of stressing that, because when he does the action without any attachment or aversion, that he is unswayed by the result also. The success and failure is a result of his action. So are you saying something? We can't hear.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. I was thinking Sunilji wanted to say something. No.
His success and failure is a result of his act.
Sunilji is
The fact. Am I audible, sir? Am I audible?
Yes, good.
So, so between the this is an important difference that see, individual is endowed with consciousness and
Your voice is
able to remain.
voice is
It does
breaking.
not- if it remains still, then that is the true potential of consciousness. Affected by happenings in the external world. So I feel it's just and proper that the between the sattvic karta.
to me, I don't even think it's a difference. The act is the natural result of the act. So shall we move to the next verse?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
रागी कर्म फल प्रेप्सुर लुब्धो हिंसात्मको शुचिः हर्ष शोकान्वितः कर्ता राजस परिकीर्तितः.
So the doer who's full of attachment seeks the fruit of actions, is greedy, who's oppressive by nature, impure and of impure conduct, who feels joy and sorrow, has been called Rajasika. So, see, these are a natural consequence of the knowledge, action, and the personality of the doer. So, this doer is full of attachment. He wants the fruit of actions because it's I, me, mine. Because he sees a difference. And naturally, he's oppressive by nature, he's of impure conduct, and he feels the difference. He feels the joy. He feels the result also is joy. He experiences the joys and sorrows because he's totally attached. So these are the natural consequences of the knowledge and the action. Mahendra sir, would you like to say something? You're on loud.
No, I think you can proceed on this.
All right. So shall we do the 28th verse?
Yes, yes.
अयुक्तः प्राकृतः स्तब्धः शठो नैष्कृतिको लसः विषादी दीर्घसूत्री च कर्ता तामस उच्यते.
So now he's given so many qualities. Ayukta, unsteady, undisciplined, unbalanced. Prakrut, somebody who's not cultured, who's unrefined, who's kind of vulgar, who's not matured in his thinking. The unbending, who's obstinate, who's shutter, who's cheating, dishonest, who's deceitful, who's cunning in his dealings. Next, Kritik, who's malicious, who's wicked, who's given to destroying the livelihood of others, who's alsi, alas, Vishadi, who's unhappy, despondent, or depressive, Dhirga Sutri, who is a procrastinator. One of these days I shall do it. That is the attitude. I will do it. And so these are the doer. This is the doer who's tamasic. These are the qualities of a doer who's tamasic. So, shall we discuss this or we can go on? So, it just says that procrastination is, I just think that will be done. Postponing one's duties. Many people are not cheaters, they are not dishonest, but they are lazy and they keep postponing things, which again is a tamasic quality, and this should be avoided. Thoughts? Or shall we go to the next one? These are self-explanatory verses.
Yes.
Yeah.
बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतेश्चैव गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु प्रोच्यमानम् अशेषेण पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय.
Now he's saying, now hear from me. Kind of be attentive and hear from me, Arjun. The threefold division based on the predominance of each guna of understanding and firmness, which I shall explain in detail one by one. Now he's coming to buddhi, and he's already told us about knowledge. But what is this buddhi? So we may have knowledge. I know that to do this is not right, but I don't actually execute it. My understanding is not firm. Like the classic example of Yudhishthir. When Dronacharya is giving them the lesson of truth, he's the only one who says, I have not understood. All the others have understood. I know that what is truth and what is untruth. But here, buddhi means I have clearly understood and I'm actually practicing it. That is the difference. So he's now classifying buddhi and steadiness, buddhi and dhritti. So now he's going to do that in the next three verses. He's going to divide them sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. So the next 6 verses we are going to learn about buddhi and dhritti. So shall we read?
Yeah. प्रवृत्तिञ्च निवृत्तिञ्च कार्याकार्ये भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेत्ति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी.
The intellect which correctly determines the paths of activity and renunciation. What ought to be done and what should be avoided or what should not be done. What is fear? What is it that I should fear? And what is it that I should not fear? Fearlessness. What is bondage and what is liberation? That intellect is sattvika. Now, it is not just an intellect, it's an intellect which acts accordingly. The intellect which now has understood deeply that this is what I should do and what this is what I should not do. So most of us are sadhakas on this path. We have now conceptual knowledge or a perception. Okay, this is what I should do and not do. But when it comes into practice, we're unable to do it. So practice is requires a lot of effort, which we will read in the next verses. But as of now, this is the buddhi, which is a deep understanding of what is right, what is not right, what should be done, not to be done, what should be feared and not to be feared. Like they say, fools tread where fools rush where angels fear to tread. So there is no clear understanding of deep understanding of what should be done and what should not be done. So we'll go to the Rajasic understanding.
यया धर्मम् अधर्मं च कार्यं चाकार्यमेव च अयथावत् प्रजानाति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ राजसी.
The intellect by which man does not truly perceive what is dharma and what is adharma, what ought to be done and what should not be done, that intellect is Rajasika. So now there was this character of Vidur who knew what is to be done and not to be done. Now his brother Dhritarashtra, he does not know. He knows he's been educated in dharma and adharma, but he's unable to put it into practice. So he follows the path of adharma. He does not truly perceive the right and the wrong, what should be done and what should not be done, because I sense that attachment is too strong. My son, my kingdom, the I, me, mine is strong. So then the dharma part is clouded, and what is dharma, what is adharma is perceived as dharma. So we can do the next verse.
अधर्मं धर्ममिति या मन्यते तमसावृता सर्वार्थान् विपरीतांश्च बुद्धिः सा पार्थ तामसी.
The intellect steeped in ignorance, which imagines even adharma to be dharma and sees all other things pervertedly, that intellect is tamasika. Where there is no, when I see adharma, that feeling of entitlement that I should, this is right, even though it is wrong. So we see the criminals of today doing the things which should not be done and thinking that that is the right thing. It's a kind of a perverted understanding. So the actions also the same. Shall we do the next verse, sir?
धृत्या यया धारयते मनः प्राणेन्द्रिय क्रियाः योगेन अव्यभिचारिण्या धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी.
Unwavering perseverance by which man controls through the yoga of meditation the functions of the mind, the vital airs and the senses, that firmness, Arjun, is sattvika. Now he's talking about dhriti. Dhriti is perseverance or determination, consistency. Now I understand it's very difficult to put things into practice, but I go on persisting. I go on keeping in mind what is right. I don't allow my intellect to be clouded. I don't allow my buddhi to be clouded, but I persevere on that path. Once I've decided this is the path for me, I pursue the path without any doubt. That doubtless state, that faith, the state of faith is sattvic. So I continue on that path. I control my mind. I don't allow my mind to do any kind of mischievous, and I pursue that path. That kind of perseverance, which is on the right track, is called sattviki. So Vinoba says a bhakta does not ask, how long should I do it? How long should I control myself? He goes on doing it till he's achieved the goal. So first he has the right goal, he has the right understanding, and he pursues it. So shall we read about the Rajasic perseverance?
Yeah. यया तु धर्म कामार्थान् धृत्या धारयते अर्जुन प्रसंगेन फलाकांक्षी धृतिः सा पार्थ राजसी.
The perseverance, however, by which the man seeking reward for his actions clutches with extreme fondness virtues, earthly possessions, and worldly enjoyments, that perseverance is said to be Rajasika. Now he's used the word virtues. He's clinging to virtues also. So he clings to good deeds. That kind of a thing. Now, what would come under good deeds? That I don't hurt somebody, but still I'm selfish. There's a motive behind my good deeds also. See, in the next verse, we are going to be learning about the person who's crossed over all this, and which we have already done in the 14th verse, 14th chapter. This virtue thing, this good and bad, we have to, the Gunatita rises above this. For him, it's basically duty. And in the following verses also, we are going to learn that for a Sattvika person, it's only duty. He may kill, but it's out of a sense of duty. He doesn't hold on to a false sense of goodness. Now, goodness also can be in a false sense. I want to prove myself that I'm better than everybody. So when that I sense is there, and when I hold on to all these things, that perseverance is said to be Rajasika. So is this clear, or any questions on this? When I hold on to virtues.
You know, the other meaning of dhriti,
Yeah.
dhriti is courage.
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 Yeah.
So here, of course, the translator has opted for firmness and perseverance, which is also
Right.
fine
Yeah.
because they are all related to each other.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. But
Correct.
the firmness is not with regard to the world outside. Firmness is
Yeah.
with regard to the world inside. That is one's
Absolutely.
own
Absolutely.
mana buddhi. That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
very remarkable.
Yeah. True. True. Very true. Courage is the thing. The fear and fearlessness, the courage to do the right. Very, very difficult to have the courage to do the right.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, Dhriti is derived from the, basically the meaning is धारण करने की capacity, to be able
Correct.
to hold something.
Yeah.
within.
Iti dharma.
And so that naturally that means that the longer or which you're able to retain or holding, uh, at that. And
Your voice is breaking a lot. It's clear. We are not able to understand. Okay, we'll go on. Yeah, what Sunilji was trying to say is dharya iti dharma. So to do dharma, you need courage. The definition of dharma, something which upholds you. So dhriti comes from that word. You're right, courage. So I don't know if you have the time, so I just like to share something. So there are some people in our building who park their cars randomly. So now one of the persons had parked the car, so the other fellow could not remove the car. So I stood up because it was my car. So I stood up because couldn't remove the car. So then the message he sent me was, I sent a very polite message that can you please remove the car and park it on the side so that I may use my car. So he says, yeah, but I didn't do it on purpose. My driver did it. So I asked the driver. The driver said, Saab ne bola mujhe karne ko. So I told him, see, I've spoken to the driver and he said that you have instructed him. Then he wrote to me, I thought you were a very pious lady. I was like, okay, so I'm a pious lady, so I must not stand up. So, so this just happened this week, and it's so fresh in my mind. And I was doing this thing, so I must not have the courage to stand up for myself. I must just, this courage to stand up for yourself in the right situation is very important.
Yeah.
That firmness. So so people just can use a different perverse kind of an understanding where you just emotionally tell the person, why are you doing this? So they're all good people. It's not that they're evil or would harm somebody, but it was just that to park the car in the proper place would require some effort, and it was just basically laziness. So these kind of things do happen. And I had also earlier shared that about Suresh Bhai was at the institute, and that man kept, keeping the garbage outside his door. And this man kept taking it every day and putting it aside. So a sattvic kind of a dhriti, perseverance, where he continued to do what is right, even though the opposite person was doing what is wrong. So when to do what, when to stand up, when to ignore. Now, what I shared has been ignored many times previously. But now this time, I thought I must just stand up and just tell him down not to do this. So this is the reply I got. So well.
So that gentleman is a good example of Ayukta Prakrita Stabdha Shato Naishkutiko Lasa.
So he's my neighbor. I can't even judge. I just have to take the situation and forget about it.
So you have all the examples in your building.
Yes, all over. So that was very funny.
Has these examples.
So anyway, So I spoiled my image and I'm good about it. Anyway, so we shall go on to the next verse.
यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं.
भी,
Sorry.
ऐसे भी, sorry, am I audible?
बताइए अनिल जी, आप क्या कह
Sorry.
रहे हैं?
Saying, you know, Guru, am I? So George Gurdjieff, uh, called as a kind of what? A rogue saint, something like that. Because would at the same time on expression and the right side of the face, very expression. So, should have actually both should be classify you. You should be able to, you know, if you're bi,
And
then you
face-
have to be right. So that really made the person complete. So they were so glad to, you know, go.
You need to have an iron fist in a velvet glove. Depends. Depends on the situation. So what verse are we reading, sir? The 35? So shall we read 35?
35 we read, no?
Okay, the Tamasic.
Yeah.
Sir, 34, sir.
यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा धृतिस्सा पार्थ तामसी.
The perseverance by which an evil-minded person does not give up sleep, fear, anxiety, sorrow, vanity, as well, that perseverance is tamasic. So, anxiety is, there is no faith in God. Chinta is like chitta. That is what Kabir says. Sant Kabir says, Chinta is like chitta. Anxiety, sorrow. That I have no faith in God. I have no faith in goodness. I am lazy, okay, sleep, understandable. Fear, there is no courage in me. And there is no faith in me. That's why there is anxiety, there is sorrow. I can't see anything positive. I can see only the negative. I'm always sorrowful. There is vanity. Deep vanity, as in it's only about me. That perseverance is tamasika. When I continue to hold on to negativity, that is tamasika. So now the next verses are going to tell us a result. When I have the right understanding and when I persevere in the right direction, what is going to be the result of that? That is now mentioned over here in 36. We can do it one by one.
All right. सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ अभ्यासाद् रमते यत्र दुःखान्तञ्च निगच्छति.
Yeah, so he's talking about joy. No, he's saying that first now hear about the joy, the three kinds of joy. And because of long practice, the man comes to rejoice in his actions and he reaches the end of sorrow. Dukha anta. He reaches the end of sorrow. By long practice, he reaches the true happiness when he follows the right path. And now in the next verse he's going to describe the sattvic kind of a joy of happiness. That's
यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखम सात्विकम प्रोक्तम आत्मबुद्धि प्रसादजम.
So he says, now hear from me the threefold joy too, that in which the striver finds enjoyment through practice of adoration, meditation, and service to God, and whereby he reaches the end of sorrow. Such a joy, though appearing as poison in the beginning, it's like wish, and then, but it tastes like nectar in the end. That joy, born as it is of the placidity of mind, brought about by meditation on God, has been declared as Sattvika. So, slowly, when the Sattvic person, with his Sattvic understanding, continues, has the courage to go on the right path, then the result is happiness. And that initially may seem like poison because you have to give up so many things, and it's very difficult to keep the mind on a focused and on the right path. The right path is boring. There is not much of enjoyment and there is not much of variety. It's a straight path without many branches or without many deviations. So when he goes on walking on that path, initially it's very, very tough. But the end result, initially it's a struggle. So it appears like poison. It's like a river which is moving in all directions and you're forcing it to move in one direction. So, but later on, the fruit of it, the result of it is true joy and happiness, which is lasting. So this is what this verse means. And I think we all would have experienced it when we sit down to close our eyes and focus on the breath, the mind wanders. Or even if we take up some job and we decide to finish it in some amount of time, in a period of time, it becomes difficult sometimes because there are many other distractions. So for a person, there are distractions, but he overpowers them. He controls his mind, and he doesn't come under their sway. So now we shall see the Rajasic kind of happiness. 38. 38, sir.
38.
Yes. 38.
विषयेन्द्रिय संयोगात् यत्तदग्रे मृतोपमं परिणामे विषमिव तत्सुखं राजसं स्मृतम्.
The delight which ensues from the contact of the senses with their objects is eventually poison-like, though appearing at first as nectar, it has spoken of as Rajasic. All the enjoyments of the senses, which are so enjoyable, like eating something, listening to something, if they don't deviate us from the duty, it's fine. But if we give up the right and we follow these sense enjoyments, they appear so attractive that you can't see the consequence. It's so nectar like that you can't even understand the effects of it. Something very harmless also can be included in this. You're not sleepy, but you don't force yourself to sleep. Like we have Sharad Bhai Chauhan, who is the MD of Parle G Biscuits, or Parle G, the company which makes biscuits and sweets. So he says sometimes I'm not sleepy at night. He said earlier I would listen to some music. Now he says I repeat the name of God and I thank God that I'm not able to sleep, and so I can meditate upon Him and think about Him. So, I mean, that was such a wonderful kind of a sharing. And he actually does it. And he says, when I go on repeating the name of God, eventually I fall asleep. So this is about Rajasika. Now, shall we do the Tamasika?
यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मनः निद्रालस्य प्रमादोत्थं तत्तामसम् उदाहृतम्.
That which stupefies the self during its enjoyment as well as in the end. There is no knowledge of what is right and wrong. Derived from sleep, indolence, and obstinate error, such delight has been called tamasika. That I'm happy in a wrong enjoyment. I'm happy when it's over. I'm glad I did it. If I'm happy for money and I'm enjoying the money also, in the end also I'm happy. I'm happy to sleep. All this is called tamasika. Now there can be many examples. Like I just gave the example of the person who was putting the kachra uh, dirt in front of his neighbor's house. He was happy, and he was happy that the neighbor is getting dirt. So this kind of delight is called tamasika, where you're hurting somebody and you're deriving joy out of it. So now we come to another aspect about duties. So let us read 40, verse 40. So shall we read verse 40?
Yeah. न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यदेभिः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः.
There is no being on earth, in Akash, or even among the gods, or anywhere else who is free from the three gunas born of Prakriti. We are all a part of the whole. None of us can be without the Prakriti. Nothing in this world, animate or inanimate, can be away from Prakriti. Now, read the next verse. So, verse 41.
Yeah. ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय विशां शूद्राणां च परन्तप कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभाव प्रभवैर्गुणैः.
So, we are not free from the gunas. We all have the three gunas. Everything on earth or in Akash or on the gods, even gods cannot escape Prakriti. They have the gunas in them. And so now he's saying the duties of the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, as well as the Shudras have been assigned according to their innate modes of Prakriti, the gunas, Arjun. So now he's saying that you cannot escape the gunas. You are born with certain gunas. You're born with a certain temperament, a certain quality, a certain mode, and you cannot escape it. And this world, everybody has to do certain duties, and the duties have been divided according to the temperaments. And what are the duties of the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, the four varna, the four classification of human beings, is now given in the next four verses. So we shall read that and then we'll discuss that.
Yeah, but this will be a controversial verse in today's situation. This will be very. This will.
Yeah, yeah, but nonetheless, we'll read it.
शमोदमस्तपः शौचं क्षान्तिरार्जवमेव च ज्ञानं विज्ञानमास्तिक्यं ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजम्.
He's going to describe the quality of a Brahman. Now, sir, what you say is right, but we'll read these four verses and then we are going to discuss this because this can't escape without any discussion. So maybe next time, but today we'll at least study the qualities. So he said Shama, Dhamma, serenity of mind. Dhamma is self-restraint or self-control. Tappa, austerity. Shaucham, purity. Shanti, forgiveness. Arjavam, uprightness. Jnanam, knowledge. Vijnanam, realization or wisdom. Astikyam is the opposite of Nastik. Belief in God, Astikyam. Belief in God, belief in the scriptures, belief in the hereafter. These are the duties of a Brahman. Now, he says none of us are free from the three gunas. All of us have the three gunas. In whatever mode I am, whether I am a Brahmin, whether I am a Shudra, whether I am a Vaishya, whether I am a Kshatriya, I have these qualities. I will have Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. Now, we'll read the verses, the qualities of a Kshatriya. So we'll
शौर्यं तेजो धृतिर्दाक्ष्यं युद्धे चाप्य पलायनं दानमीश्वर भावश्च क्षात्रं कर्म स्वभावजम्.
He says heroism, splendor, that is teja, dhriti, again firmness, or we can take it as courage, steadiness, fortitude, perseverance, daksha, promptness. A Kshatriya has to take decisions very quickly because he is in the midst of activity. So he has to be dexterous, daksha, daksha, or however you say it. Resourcefulness, capability. He is capable. He has the ability to take decisions, sudden decisions in battle or otherwise also in life because he's a Rajasic kind of a person and he does not flee from battle out of fear. He's generous and he has Ishwar Bhav or the feeling of lordliness in a good way, in a sattvic way. He is a good ruler, he's a confident ruler. So we see that the qualities of Sattva come in the Kshatriya also. The qualities of Rajas can come in the qualities of a Brahman also. We can't escape these qualities. So we'll read the next verse. Now, Krishi Gauraksha.
कृषि गौरक्ष वाणिज्यं वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजं परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजम्.
So he says agriculture, Krishi, after the cows, and honest trade of merchandise, these constitute the natural duty of a Vaishya. And service to the other classes is a natural duty even of a Shudra. Now, here he is not saying that I don't know how it should not apply to the modern thing also. If I am born in a family which I am, suppose I'm a servant, but I can be a good servant, I can be sattvika, I can be honest, I can be trustworthy, though I am given to service. If I am a trader, I can still do honest trade. If I am a ruler, I can still be a good ruler. And if I'm a Brahmin, I have to anyway follow piousness. So none of these, now these are not divided into sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. You are told that you have to just do your duty in whatever mode you are. If I am a servant, I have to be a servant. If I am an employee, I have to be an employee. I know people who have the topmost levels, and I know one person who says, I don't, for the office calls, I have my office phone, and for my personal calls, I have a separate phone. He says there are people who take away stationery from the office. He says, I mean, not bragging, he wasn't bragging, but he says, these are some things which I don't want to do. So we can find honesty in even small actions of life, in wherever it's in whichever position you are. So I don't know, sir, if this would be um contrary or difficult for times. I don't know. What do you say?
I feel that the verse which will hurt the modern sensibilities most is last one. That's why that affects all the rest of the people.
What say here? Your voice has been breaking throughout.
That's what happened. Position. So that is not affected.
Okay.
Okay, I'll switch off video and
Mahendra,
let's see.
okay. Mahendra, sir, would you like to say something about this?
I will take it the other way around.
Okay.
The phenomena of the world is being explained first,
Yeah.
and a terminology has been given later on.
Right.
Even sattva, rajas, or tamas with respect to knowledge, action, or the doer. The
Yes.
concept or the doer is there, then
Yeah.
a term has been given as sattva, rajas, or tamas.
Thomas.
So the event has been described.
Yes.
So in this cosmos on the world, once the event, concept, thought, or action is given, and that is summarized in a word. I mean, one should take in this way. So, like certain types of works or duty has been allotted. Go in a war field, be active, be powerful. Now, such a state, whosoever does, the doer is termed as a Kshatriya. I'm not saying that Kshatriya has to do it. No, absolutely not. Whosoever does it, wherever he is born, in any village, see the work, the type of work whosoever does, a term has been given to him as a Kshatriya. Similarly, whosoever studies Vedas, devoted towards God, like that, whosoever is there, the term has been given a Brahmana. It's not that somebody, that born in that family or otherwise. Similarly, in the case of agriculture, the person who is doing the agriculture, Shudra, in the trade and commerce, is a Vaishya. So the type of action, the type of concept is first, it is preceded, in fact. And that is to be condensed. The whole concept is to be condensed by giving a terminology. So I think if we take in that sense, things would be better, and the room for controversy may be lesser.
Yes. So people can misconstrue that. So they would come under the tamasic or the perverse kind of an understanding. He's already described the understanding, the buddhi. So we can take a piecemeal kind of uh, what do you say, of the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. The karta, the karma, the jnana already has been described.
Yes.
True. So do you want to say anything? So, sir?
No, I'm not able to hear what Mahendraji said. I just could not follow what he said.
Mahendra said that the description, okay, so you can say it again.
It's not coming clear. You are on mute, Ashaji.
महेंद्र जी स्पीकिंग. महेंद्र जी आप वापस बताएंगे क्या बताना है?
I just wanted to convey that we may take up from the other side. See, whatever is happening or whatever is available in this world, concept as the action is being given a term. So first, the work or the action or thought comes, and that concept is denoted in a word or two. Like sattva, rajas, and tamas doesn't come first. The concept comes first. And whatever concept is there, that is described in word of sattva, in the rajas and tamas. So whenever these words are given, it has a lot of concept and meaning. Similarly, taking the same route, the action has also been divided into a number of categories. The action like those who are performing yajna, study in Vedas, or following spiritual paths. Now, such category of person or such type of action, the persons, they are known as Brahmanas, is not the other way around. The Brahmana will do this, this not. It doesn't mean. First, the action comes. He's studying the Vedas. He is involved in spiritual actions, totally disinterested. See, lots of qualities and concepts come, and then we give to that person a term known as Brahmana. Similarly, is the case with Kshatriya also, a warrior who goes in the war, a strong person, when such type of person is given a term as a Kshatriya, a clan, that one person or the group of persons, that clan is known as a Kshatriya. So the term is to denote a very deeper concept. And similar is the case with the persons who are involved in trade and commerce, known as Vaishya, and the person who are involved in agriculture and other like actions, they have been given term as Shudras. So the type of action decides the term. If we take that way, I think that should be a better way to uh, adopt it.
Yes.
Now, if we interpret the term in this way, the room for controversy in the modern times may be lesser.
Correct. So, read the next verse, everything will be clear. Just we have 3 minutes. We just wind up with the next verse.
स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरत संसिद्धिं लभते नरः स्वकर्म निरत सिद्धिं यथा विन्दति तत् शृणु.
So he says, he devoted to his own duty, man attains the life. Here the mode of performance whereby man engaged in his inborn duty reaches the highest conclusion. So in whichever area we are in life, wherever we are placed, we don't decide what we have to become. A child may say, I will become a pilot when I grow big. I may become a teacher. Not necessarily the child will become that. Now, we didn't know that we would take up to the study of the scripture so deeply. We would practice yoga so deeply. Life just takes you. When you're born, you don't know that. When you're a student, some people know, some all don't know. But wherever life has put you, in whichever area, you may be a Brahmin, you may be a scholar, you may be put in the battlefield, you may be in the military, you may be a ruler, you may be a man given to service. Wherever you are, you have to do that action to the best of your capability. That's what Mahendra sir was trying to tell us, that he's already given us a concept. He's already first told us that about knowledge, action, and the karma, and then he's divided into sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. So he has told, now he's broken it up into the varna.
Right.
So,
He has broken it. But
yeah.
then where is the need to introduce this another concept called Swabhava? Swabhavaja. There was no need to bring in the concept of Swabhavaja. That is a later addition. Meant, and it goes in line with the Chaturvarnya concept, which is no longer acceptable to us. So Swabhava is a new concept introduced here. Brahma Karma Swabhavajam.
Okay.
Kshatrang Karma Swabhavajam. Karma Shudrasyapi Swabhavajam.
Yes, what you say is
So
right.
where is this concept of Swabhav coming in?
As usual, we always talk at a very crucial point of discussion. So again, today we are at 10:15. Always our discussion carried forward.
We'll take it up next time.
Yes,
Yeah, next time we
100%.
start.
100%,
Yeah.
sir. 100%. So we'll do that. I think
Yeah.
you will have to give me one more class. I thought this will be the second class. Let's see.